Welcome to Kelly Dry's At Law Access podcast, and this is Simone Roach. Recently, President Trump fired the two Democratic members of the Federal Trade Commission, Commissioners Alvaro Bedoya and Rebecca Kelly Slaughter. President Trump's action leaves Chair Andrew Ferguson, Republican, and Commissioner Melissa Holyoak, Republican, as the only two members of the commission, which has many wondering, can the FTC take formal action by a 2-0 vote cast by members of the same party? Can Trump refuse to appoint new Democratic members? And what happens next for Commissioners Bedoya and Slaughter? Here is a history of FTC quorums. Congress created the FTC in 1914 as a 5-member commission, with 7-year staggered terms for commissioners. Under that framework, no more than 3 commissioners could hail from the same political party. The statute did not expressly address how many commissioners constitute a quorum for FTC actions, but as former FTC Chair Edith Ramirez stated in 2015, the FTC's architects believed that decisions made by consensus through a collective body rather than by a single agency head would make for better policy. Accordingly, for many years, the FTC adhered to a rule mirroring what the Supreme Court described as the almost universally accepted common law rule, namely, that a majority of a quorum constituted of a simple majority of a collective body is empowered to act for the body. But in September 2005, the FTC acted on its own to lower its quorum threshold. It adopted a new quorum rule, 16 CFR Section 414, providing that a majority of the members of the Commission in office and not recused from participating in a matter constitutes a quorum for the transaction of business in that matter. Can the FTC take formal action by a 2-0 vote? According to Rule 414, a quorum is a majority of members who are not recused from participating in a matter. So, where there are only 2 commissioners, can a quorum exist where one commissioner votes in favor of an action and the other votes against? We think not, given that a majority means more than half. What about when both commissioners vote in favor of an action? Can a 2-commissioner vote ever constitute a quorum? Although the issue has not been litigated, there is relevant precedent. In 2017, the FTC during the last weeks of the Obama administration authorized the filing of a complaint by a vote of 2-0, with Chair Edith Ramirez, Democrat, and Terrell McSweeney, Democrat, voting in favor. Commissioner Maureen Olhausen recused herself. Professor Stephen Calkins and John Villafranco elaborated on this issue in 2018. In light of this relatively recent precedent, Democrats would need to distinguish that 2017 vote from any forthcoming 2-0 votes in the Ferguson-led FTC. Can President Trump refuse to appoint more Democrats? The FTC Act does not, by its terms, require a president to appoint commissioners. Section 1 merely provides that not more than 3 of the commissioners shall be members of the same political party. Thus, President Trump could, in theory, appoint an additional Republican commissioner. He nominated Mark Meader in January 2025 and leave the 2 Democratic spots vacant, an action that would certainly be challenged given that the commission is contemplated as a 5-member commission. And what happens now? Commissioners Bedoya and Slaughter have called their termination illegal and plan to fight the Trump administration in court. There is precedent for this. In January 2025, President Trump fired Gwen A. Wilcox, a Democratic member of the National Labor Relations Board. She sued to challenge her dismissal, and a judge reinstated her early this month. The administration has appealed that ruling. And as discussed in more detail in this space, this line of cases is likely to ultimately result in the Supreme Court's reconsideration of a 1935 precedent, Humphrey's executor. Thus, it is possible that the Democratic commissioners will refuse to step down from service pending litigation. And if that happens, will the commission recognize their votes? Highly unlikely. In any event, in that case, every FTC action would be subject to challenge, especially before merger is confirmed, until a court rules on the termination. And if you'd like more information on what you've heard on this topic, please contact either John Villafranco or Andrea Delormier, and you can find their contact details in the show notes. And also, please see our Advertising and Privacy Law Resource Center, available at kellydry.com.